Courage isn't about eliminating fear. It's about making the decision that your dream is worth more than the fear you feel. I can't make the fear go away, but I can stop letting fear make all my decisions. My dreams get a vote, not my fears. You're never too busy, too tired, too old, or too anything to pursue your dreams. Welcome to the Distracted Dreamer podcast, where you'll learn how to move all those never-ending distractions aside and chase your dreams with confidence. Hey there, dreamers. Welcome back to another episode of the Distracted Dreamer podcast. I'm your host, Carleen Bowens, and today we're talking about a lesson that I can't believe I am still learning over and over again. This lesson is absolutely crucial for anyone to learn if they want to live a truly happy life. Can you guess what it is? I'm going to tell you, but before I do, I got a quick question. Have you shared this podcast with a friend? Listen, you found this podcast. You're somewhere on your dream journey, finding your dreams, gaining momentum on them, and hopefully feeling all the good feels that come with all of that. You can't keep it from somebody else that might need it as well. So I bet you have family or friends, someone who definitely wants to be courageous and start living the life that will make them happy and feel fulfilled. Can you grab the link and share the podcast or this specific episode with them? I'd be so grateful if you could spread the word. Okay, so with that, here it is. That lesson that I keep learning over and over again is you have to stop living your fears and start living your dreams. Have you ever felt like you're waiting for the perfect moment to take the leap? Like once you have all the answers, more time, or maybe just a little more confidence, then you'll be ready. I've been there too. But here's the truth. The perfect moment doesn't exist. You don't need more time, more information, or even more confidence. What you really need is courage. Courage to step forward when things feel uncertain. Courage to try something new, even when it's scary. And courage to trust that you're ready right now. Time waits for no one. Sometimes we get a scary, hit you over the head, punch you in the gut reminder of just that. And that's what I got in 2023. I'll be honest, sharing this publicly, it isn't easy for me. And even when I went to write the notes for this episode, I just felt like, gosh, sharing personal stuff is hard. I'm not sharing this to scare you. Well, actually I am, but to scare you in a good way. And I'm not sharing to say that my story matters more or is bigger or more difficult than anyone else's. I'm sharing because this is the moment that I got that punch in the gut reminder that time waits for no one. 2023 was an exciting year. Lots going on for my husband and I and our girls. Our youngest daughter graduated a year early from college. Our middle daughter was planning a wedding of a lifetime. And our oldest was settled into her dream job. My husband and I retired, and we started building our dream home in Tennessee. And then it happened. 1 month after my husband retired, I went in for my annual mammogram. And the night before, I had this feeling that they were going to call me back for a second look. I don't know why I thought that. It was just a feeling. Well, I wasn't home 2 hours after my mammogram when my phone rang and was told I needed to get in for a guided ultrasound biopsy the very next day. And I had a picture in my head of what it looks like to get the results, all based on what I see on TV, of course. So if everything's okay, it'll be a phone call. If it's not okay, I'll be sitting in the doctor's office with my husband, holding my hand as we sit across the desk from the doctor, delivering the bad news. Well, that is not how things actually happen. At least, that's not how it happened for me. So after 5 excruciating days of waiting, the biopsy came back. I was home alone when the call came. I had breast cancer. I stood there stunned. And the only thing I could think to ask the doctor was, if it was okay for me to still go on the Disney cruise we had booked for the following month. I mean, who thinks about a cruise after getting that kind of news? So we went on that cruise with our best friends, and it was just what I needed to mentally prepare for treatment. And the comforting thing is, I knew I was going to be okay this time. So all of the surgery and radiation became something that I needed to knock off my to-do list. I didn't want anything going on with me to sour all the great things we had going on in our lives. So, are you ready to hear how this hit me over the head moment played out? Believe it or not, it was all while I was binging a show on Netflix. On those days that I was wiped out from treatment, you know? I don't want to spoil this show for you if you haven't seen it yet. So I'm going to try telling this without any spoilers. The show's two main characters, let's call them Tara and Kelsey, are childhood BFFs coming of age together. From boyfriends to careers to family, I watched these women tackle it all. In fact, Kelsey had a dream of writing a book, but kept putting it off. I can totally relate to this. I've had that dream since I learned to read. Well, Kelsey, she gets sick. Of course, with breast cancer. Not the thing I should be watching while I'm going through treatment, right? So after a long fight, doctors tell Kelsey she's got a month to live. And watching her sit in bed, writing that book, knowing time was running out, it just gutted me. And I just sat there and bawled my eyes out. I thought, oh my gosh, that's going to be me. I've put this dream off for so long that I'm going to be Kelsey, sitting on my deathbed, writing my dang book. I was sad. I was angry at myself. So many emotions. After I got myself under control, I told myself when I get done with all this treatment, I'm not going to let my fear of what others think about me, or wondering if I'm good enough to write, or telling myself that no one other than my family will even read my book, or worrying about all the rejection I'll get from publishers. And then even if my book does get published, living in fear of all the mean reviews people write, that's a whole pile of fear. But what I realized is I can't make the fear go away, but I can stop letting fear make all my decisions. My dreams get a vote, not my fears. So obviously I'm here, so you know I'm okay. And this was my wake-up call. And it could have gone so differently. I know that we are never in the clear to be lazy and dismissive when it comes to our dreams. And I'm pushing forward one dream at a time. The first was to get to Tennessee. We made it here in February. My next dream is this podcast. Here we are. And what's next? You guessed it. I'm going to write that book. I refuse to play out my dream like Kelsey did. And I don't want you to do that either. And I guess the message here is, you do you, and don't apologize for it. And maybe if we stop judging ourselves, we'll step into the fear, knowing we can handle whatever comes, because no one is promised tomorrow. We don't have the luxury of sitting on the sidelines, watching our dreams pass by, waiting for the perfect moment. So the big question becomes, are you living out your dream, or are you stuck living out your fear? Let's be real. Pursuing a dream, it can be scary. It pushes us out of our comfort zone. It takes time, and it requires us to step into the unknown. But guess what? That's where courage comes in. So let me ask you this. What do you think courage is? Whenever I ask people that, I usually get answers like being brave or not being afraid. But here's the truth about courage. It's not about being fearless. Courage is about taking action in spite of your fear. It's knowing you're scared or uncertain and doing it anyway. You don't need confidence to start. You need courage. Confidence says, I know what I'm doing. Courage says, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll try anyway. Being courageous is that moment when you take action, even though you're scared out of your mind. Confidence comes after you take that courageous action. Confidence comes from the proof of your scared out of your mind action that shows you it's not as scary as you were making it in your head. Let that sink in for a moment. Courage isn't about eliminating fear. It's about making the decision that your dream is worth more than the fear you feel. Let's get real for a moment. What's stopping you from pursuing your dream? Is it fear of failure, rejection, or even success? We all have our fears. So some of us are scared of falling flat on our faces, looking foolish in front of others, or worse, failing and confirming that nagging voice inside our head that says, "See, you're not good enough." But what's interesting is that fear can disguise itself as logic. It sounds so reasonable. Now's not the right time. I'm not ready. I just need a little more experience. What if I fail? Let me give you a couple of examples of how this plays out. Think about someone who dreams of starting their own business. Maybe this is you, so step into this. They've had this dream for years. Every time they sit down to plan it, though, the fear creeps in. What if it doesn't work? What if I lose money? What if people don't like my idea? So instead of taking small steps towards launching their business, they stay in their 9-to-5 job, safe but unfulfilled. That's living in fear. But what they don't realize is that they don't have to quit their job tomorrow and launch the business overnight. They could start with just one small step, like researching the market, or developing a product on the side, or building a website. That's living in the direction of their dream, one step at a time, even though the fear is still there. When we live in fear, we stay in our comfort zone, but nothing new ever happens there. The truth is, failure is just feedback. It's part of the process. And every step forward, even if it doesn't go perfectly, is a step toward the dream. On the flip side, let's look at fear of success. Yes, you heard me right. Fear of success. Some people are terrified that if they actually succeed, their lives will change in ways they're not prepared for. They'll have more responsibility, more expectations to live up to. They might worry about the pressure to keep performing at that higher level. A client I recently worked with wrote a manuscript and then tucked it away in a drawer for months. He wrote that manuscript quietly on the side, but he never sent that manuscript to an agent or a publisher. Why? Because the thought of actually becoming successful, of having to do book tours, interviews, or even handle public criticism freaked him out. So he stayed in his safe place, his comfort zone. That is until we worked together. Within the first week of coaching, he contacted 2 book editors to get feedback on the book. And before he knew it, he was embracing that feedback, updating his manuscript, and then yes, he contacted a publisher. He took the leap. He was no longer letting fear stop him. But here's the thing. The dream isn't just about the end result. It's about who you become in the process. Some of this might sound familiar if you listened to the previous episodes. Success doesn't have to be overwhelming if you build your way there step by step. By focusing on your next step, not the entire mountain, you can manage the growth that comes with success. When you live in fear, you make decisions based on what could go wrong. You avoid discomfort and uncertainty because it feels too risky. But the irony is, staying stuck in that safe zone, it can be far more painful than any failure. On the other hand, living your dream means accepting that fear will always be part of the journey, but choosing to take action anyway. It's acknowledging that yes, you might fail. Yes, you might be rejected. But the possibility of creating a life aligned with your dream is worth the risk. When you think about it, every decision is really a choice between your fears and your dreams. So are you letting your fear hold you back? Or are you letting your dream pull you forward? To wrap this up, let's reframe fear. Instead of asking, what if I fail? Try asking, what if I take one small step? What if, by facing your fear and taking that courageous step, you unlock opportunities you never even imagined? What if your dream leads you to meet some really awesome people who are going to support you, Or maybe it opens the doors to new opportunities and experiences that could really change your life. Living your dream doesn't mean you have to leap off a cliff tomorrow. It's about taking small steps in the right direction. And every tiny step, every goal you meet, every bit of courage you muster up brings you closer to that dream. Your dreams are waiting on you. So what's the next step you're going to take? Well, good question. So now I invite you to go take the new quiz I created called What's Your Dream Personality Type? My friend, you will learn so much about how you show up for yourself in your dreams. You'll learn how to tap into your strengths. You'll get your personalized 3-step system to confidently start chipping away at your dreams today. And you will experience a game-changing mindset shift. Now, this isn't just a quiz with the results summed up in a few words. It's your roadmap to start showing up for your dreams. And best of all, it only takes 2 minutes to complete. And it literally costs you nothing. So go check it out. The link is in the show notes below. Thanks so much for tuning in. And your dreams are waiting for you. Your time is now. And I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Oh, and one more thing. This is the legal language. You know, the stuff that the lawyers put together, and they say that I need to read this to you. So here we go. This podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. I'm just your friend. I'm not a licensed therapist. This podcast is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professionals. Got it? Good. I will see you in the next episode.